자연스럽게 그 다음 질문이 연결이 되는데요. 이런 감정과 함께 우리 한국 사회에 지금 많이 퍼져 있는 감정이 갈등과 혐오입니다. 그러니까 정치적 위기를 일단 넘기긴 했지만 여전히 우리가 사회적으로 적대적인 그런 세력들이 많이 있고 이런 현실 속에서 무력감, 냉소 이런 것에 빠질 때가 많습니다. 공적 사회에 대해서 우리가 건강한 관심을 유지하려면 우리가 서로의 마음을 돌보아야 될 텐데 어떤 걸 함께 할 수 있을까요? 이런 질문 드리고 싶습니다.
Well, I think you can do things like this, like what we're doing right now, to talk openly about these things and to share different ways of looking at them. I don't know about you, but I always find it helpful when I can get together with a group of friends and I can tell them how I feel about X or Y or Z. And I start hearing the many different ways in which people look at that same thing and come up with very different feelings and perspectives and approaches. And sometimes in the course of that kind of conversation, I will find myself saying, wow, I could look at the way she's looking at it too, or the way he's looking at it too. And I'm learning something that opens me that I would never, ever have thought of if I were simply sitting in solitude with my problem and with my cynicism and sense of helplessness. I think the flat out simple truth of the matter is that when we stay in isolation with our feelings, we are helpless, period. Um, so if we feel helpless in isolation, that's because we are. Um, none of this is going to yield to one person's approach or to one person's action. None of us is able to save ourselves. Uh, we have to band together. We need each other. And so, part of me just looks at these authoritarians who want to split us up and says, no, I'm not going to let you do that. That's bad for my health. And it's bad for the health of the people I care about. And it's bad for the health of a democracy that I treasure. It's the exact opposite of wisdom over the years. In every culture and every tradition I know anything about, um, we need each other. We need community. We are born from community, we live in community, and we die into community. We become the ancestors. And that's a point I'd like to make about the ancestors. Um, and I think it will resonate uh, in Korean culture and elsewhere in Asia, as I understand it, and certainly in my own life. Um, my generation, this generation, has accomplished nothing all by itself. It's always building on the shoulders of our ancestors. And our ancestors have seen all of this before. And they are still with us in so many important ways if we call them to consciousness. They are still with us, encouraging us. They are still with us saying, we made it through hard times, so can you. This is their legacy to us. This is their gift to us. And they are part of our community, part of the community we desperately need, precisely because they've seen it all and done it all. I learned this lesson from my Black brothers and sisters in the nonviolent civil rights movement. who are constantly talking about the ancestors without whom they wouldn't be here, and the ancestors whom they invoke regularly for strength and for guidance. And in their case, they're talking about 12, 13, 14 generations of enslaved human beings in this country who had very few degrees of freedom, if any, but they used what little they had as best they could to start to expand their freedom, to start to express themselves religiously, culturally, musically, politically. And in that expression, step by step, bit by bit, brick by brick, they built the foundation on which today's activists stand. And awareness of their gift to us is an awareness of the largeness of the community in which we stand, on which we stand, to which we owe a debt. All of us are going to be ancestors one day. And it's good practice to turn to the ancestors and ask again, what do you have to teach us? Because their teachings are encouraging, their teachings are empowering. So your question asks, what can we do together to maintain a healthy interest in the public world? What can we do to care for each other's hearts? I think so much of it comes down to we can love each other. We can and we can express that love through acts of caring, such as the awareness that what happens to the least of us happens to me too. I'm a pretty well-off, pretty affluent American. I'm a straight white male. I'm the kind of person this country was created to favor, which is part of the injustice in this country long term. If I can be aware that I don't live my life in isolation, that what happens to those who are marginalized, to those who are impoverished, to those who are oppressed, to those who suffer, also happens to me and to people like me, because we are bound together in this community that includes those of us who are still here and those of us who are long gone. Then my heart opens to ask the question, what can I do today to make life a little better for everyone? We've been talking in this country a lot about hope, and some people are saying, I just don't have hope anymore. And when they ask me, do you have hope? My first answer is, I don't know how I'd live without it. If I am hopeless, what am I supposed to do? Sit on a stool facing the corner, feeling sorry for myself? That doesn't seem to me like a fit way for a grown-up to live. But I also have a definition of hope that I live by. And it's very simple. It goes like this. Hope is staying keenly aware of the difference between what is and what could and should be, the gap between what is and what could and should be. And each day doing something, no matter how small, that will help close that gap. That's hope. Hope is an action. Hope is a verb. We are to do hope, not just to have hope.
우리가 눈앞에 있는 일들에만 이렇게 매몰되어 있을 때가 많은데 또 긴 시야로 바라볼 수 있게 해주셨고 특히 커뮤니티가 우린 살고 있는 동시대인만 생각했는데 조상들까지 포함해서 바라봐야 된다는 그 관점에 큰 도움이 됩니다.